So you're introverted, just the thought of talking to people just gives you shivers down your spine, and not in a good way. But you still need to practice your language skills. You need to practice your English. What do you do? So a big component of language learning is to practice your communication skills. But what if you just don't have the knack for it? What if speaking in your native language is even so difficult for you? How do you even imagine yourself speaking to people in another language that you're not comfortable with? So in this video, we're going to discuss some things that you can do as an introvert to practice your language skills. So let's get to it. So before starting anything, it's extremely important to know the goal. So why are you learning this language? Why do you want to start learning this language in the first place? So if you're an introvert, there's a chance that you never really fantasize about speaking to a large group of people, because that's just not your thing, and thinking about that gives you anxiety. Maybe your goal of learning this language is not to speak to people. So what is your goal? It could be that your goal to learn this language is to learn or to know the language passively. It means that you learn the language simply to understand movies without subtitles, or you want to be able to read a book without having to wait for the translated version of it. If you know 100% that this is solely the only reason why you want to learn a language, then stick with it. You don't really have to force yourself to communicate with other people if you know that you're not going to need it in your life. Or maybe you're learning a language simply because you're curious. You want to know structures of different languages. You simply want to understand how these languages work, or you simply just want to observe other people who are speaking that language. And it's okay, it's okay to have these goals. So be honest with yourself. What is really your goal in speaking a language? Is it for passive use or for active use? So if it's really for passive use, just stick with it. However, if you're an introvert trying to challenge yourself to start speaking to other people, then you have quite some homework to do. My tip is to just take it step by step. You don't really learn how to swim by being thrown into the open ocean, right? I mean, some people do learn like that, but it's just too harsh, and that's just not my philosophy. So my philosophy is to take it step by step. Just break down your goals into smaller, achievable steps. The first easiest step that you can do is to start speaking to yourself. If you feel uncomfortable speaking English or any other language that you're learning to other people, then I have said it so many times, start speaking to yourself. You can even use your phone or a camera to record yourself, so you kind of get used to the sounds of your voice in your head, and that makes you feel a little bit more confident. And also, if the thought of just speaking to yourself is weird, talking to a camera like this actually also builds up your confidence, and it kind of makes you feel like you're talking to someone. It feels like there's going to be other people on the other side that is going to listen to you. So it's not going to make you feel weird that you're just talking to an inanimate object like your phone or a camera. What I often do with myself is that, of course, I speak to a camera because it's my job as a YouTuber, but I also mimic native speakers whenever I watch them in a video or a TV series. So lately I've been watching this series called Call My Agent, or 10% in French, and then I find myself pausing a lot of the scenes, trying to mimic the native speakers and how they pronounce certain words, how their accents are, how their intonations, this and that. And the more I do that, the more I really train my pronunciation. That actually builds up my confidence when for when I'm going to start speaking to other people. Then once you've been doing that often enough and you feel very comfortable talking to yourself in your room, then you're ready to take a step further, and that is find people to talk to, but in a way that suits you. If going to a language exchange meetup or parties and start talking to a bunch of strangers that gives you anxiety, you don't have to take that approach. If what you prefer is to speak with people in a more intimate setting, or maybe in a more indirect setting, you can try to find people online to talk to. And finding people to talk to online, it could also be quite a challenge, but it's a challenge that you really have to face if you really want to find a person to talk to. Of course, apps like italki, where you can find tutors online at a very small price, could make it easier for you to ease the process of finding people. But if you don't really want to spend money to find people, then you can use a lot of free apps that are available for a language exchange, or maybe go on a Facebook group or LinkedIn even, or online forums for people who want to speak English, or Discord channels, on YouTube comments, or Instagram communities, or Facebook groups. I've said Facebook group, right? Or this app called Meetup. There's plenty of ways for you to find people to talk to. Or maybe you can find people who are already in your circle who also has the same goal. Maybe you can also find people that want to talk about the same things as you. If doing an online call or a Zoom call makes you a lot more comfortable with speaking to people, then go for that first. If you find it a lot more comfortable to talk to people one-on-one over coffee, then go for that. So find a way that suits you and then start from there. So in this point, I talked to you about the importance of finding a way for you to feel comfortable to start speaking, right? However, from time to time, it's also very important to get out of your comfort zone. If let's say you're an introvert and then going to a party or a meetup, meeting a lot of strangers, just make you sick, I would say just give it a try. Maybe even 2 or 3 tries. Because of course, at first it's going to be hard and unbearable sometimes, but then after a while, it's gonna get easier. And then from then, you can see what happens afterwards. If let's say you go to these parties or meetups, it kind of makes you feel good, you have fun, you learn a lot of things, and then you start to find people, find new friends and all that. Maybe that is something that you should keep doing, and then that's going to expand your comfort zone. However, if after 2 or 3 or 4 tries, you keep on going to these meetups and you just hate it, you don't have fun, you don't meet new friends, you don't really learn new words, and it just makes you feel anxious just being around people, then maybe it's just not for you, and then maybe there's not really a point to always put you in that kind of discomfort. If you really force yourself to do it and you know that it's not your thing, it might actually be counterproductive if you keep on doing it, and because it will give you negative feelings, and then you're going to associate learning a new language with these negative feelings, So you're gonna have to be honest with yourself and really know yourself better. Like, what do I feel after I go to these events and push myself out of this comfort zone? Is this really something that I would like to pursue? And it scares me a little bit, but I have fun with it? Or is this something that constantly gives me anxiety just being around people? So you have to be really honest. But it is important to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, to also explore yourself, to get to know yourself better in order to practice. So those are my 2 cents about how to learn a language when you're an introvert. Hope you find it helpful, and I will see you next week in another video. Bye-bye.